I'll tell y'all one thing about the Democrats that many in this audience probably already know. They are so bad at politics. And this I'm making this video because I feel like a lot of times I demonize many in the establishment Democrats. I don't think they're bad people. Some may be genuinely bad people, but I think that at the end of the day, they do have some genuine interests in their hearts, right? I don't think that they want to see an America where people are continuing to be paid starvation wages. I don't think they want to see an America where 500,000 people go bankrupt because of lack of access to health care. I don't think they want to see an America where my generation and future generations can't live on a habitable planet. I don't think they want to see that genuinely in their hearts. And I think that they do put up a resistance to anything that stands too much against the working class, right? In a way that directly and brazenly oppresses them. I think that many establishment Democrats would put up at least a weak resistance to that. But this is the problem, bro. That weak resistance isn't enough. Y'all are bad at politics. Fundamentally bad. And this is the perfect, prime, grade A, lovely example. The coronavirus pandemic and what they did for working families. Now let's rewind a little bit and let's go back to 6 weeks ago, right? And shit's starting to hit the fan. You got 5 million people now having to file for unemployment insurance. You got economists projecting that we're going to see 25-30% unemployment. You have shit hitting the fan. Coronavirus is going up like this, shooting through the moon. Everybody's scared. The stay-at-home lockdowns are starting to be implemented. Shit is hitting the fan. And we knew at this point that the economy was going to go on pause. We just didn't know how long. And we had progressives out here saying, hey, we should have a moratorium on rent and evictions and foreclosures and mortgages and utility payments. We need to put the economy on pause. People shouldn't have to pay for essential services. They should be provided. Because millions upon millions upon millions of people are going to lose their jobs. And if we don't help them and ensure that if the economy pauses, workers are protected, they will starve. Right? You have progressives out here saying this. You even have populist people on the right saying that. But Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, did they come to the negotiating table with those sets of aggressive demands? Saying that, no, we're not going to give trillions to corporations. We're going to give trillions to small businesses and the paycheck protection programs, right? And a moratorium on rent and evictions and utility payments. Did they come with that agenda? Did they come with the UBI? Did they come with anything that would have gone concretely towards helping out millions of working families? No, they did not. No, they did not. They didn't come, even if they were going to give the trillions to large companies, with oversight panels and ensuring that small businesses, there were oversight panels on those so that the Lakers and huge colleges don't be able to get the funds. No, they didn't come with that. Instead, they bucked. They bent the knee. They did what they had to do because this is the problem with Democrats. In their hearts, many of them want the same things that we do, but they are unprepared to fight for it. Nancy Pelosi was fundamentally unprepared to fight for an aggressive agenda. So when they were at the negotiating table with the minority Republicans in the House and then the majority Republicans in the Senate, they did not use obstructionist tactics, backroom, hardcore politics. They did not spin the narrative in their favor. They should have been out there in the streets saying on media, right in front of Capitol Hill, wherever they could, in any interview that would pick them up, wherever they could, spread the narrative that Mitch McConnell and all the minority Republicans in the House and every single one of the establishment corporate America Republicans are standing against the essential needs that average folks have across this country. They are standing against millions of working families having the protections necessary so they don't starve. That's what you should have been saying from the jump. And that should have been the focus. Not this weird opposition where you're calling out Trump or saying weird things. No. You should have been throwing all of your political capital, every single tool in your arsenal, towards the Republicans. Calling them out, saying that they are directly responsible for people starving tonight. They are directly responsible for people losing their jobs tonight. They are directly responsible for people going bankrupt tonight. That should have been your priority from the jump. That should have been your focus from the jump. Because that is how you play politics. People don't care about the weird flashy shit that Trump says. Only the base of your base cares about that. The flippant crap that he says sometimes, no one cares about that. The immaturity, right? The immoralness, no one cares about that. What they care about is how you are impacting my life. Are you fighting for me? Are you fighting for my interests? And if you're fighting for my interests, how can I support you fighting for my interests? Because I don't want to starve. That is what people care about. And that is the problem with the Democrats. You saw that in the coronavirus pandemic fallout. You saw that in this election now with Joe Biden. The campaign is running. In 2016 with the campaign Hillary Clinton ran. They're running and they're campaigning and they're fighting in this weak #resistance way, where instead of actually resisting on the policy and on the matters that impact the American people and doing it in hardcore ways, breaking backs, using the media, using public opinion in your favor, instead what they do is they fight on grounds that are simply unwinnable. You're not going to win on this weird cultural thing where you're trying to get people to feel offended at everything that this guy says. No, you're not going to win on that grounds. But you will win on matters that impact our survival. You will win on grounds that impact our ability to feed our families and feed ourselves and keep a roof over our head. The basic needs of our survival. That's how you're going to win. By fighting for us and fighting for our livelihood. Democrats don't understand that, man. And they bent the knee. They bent the knee. Instead of going out and blasting every media outlet you could, talking about how the Republicans are directly responsible for people starving. Instead, what you said was, listen, we would like to see more in this bill, but we can't vote against it. We can't vote against it. We can't vote against it because people need this aid now. No. You can vote against it, Nancy. You can vote against it, Chuck. You can vote against it, even Bernie. You can. You can. You can fight the war of public opinion to get the people on your side, waging an actual hardcore resistance to everything that the Republicans are standing for. To all the corporate America funded crap. There should have never been a $4 trillion bailout with little to no strings attached for all these titans of industry while people are out here starving. When under 10% of small businesses even got the loans. When you gave loans to the Lakers and Harvard. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely absurd. You could have been out here fighting, using public opinion, using social media, using mainstream media, using every outlet at your disposal to wage a political war for our interests. But you didn't do that, Nancy. You didn't do that, Chuck. You didn't even do that, Bernie. It's kind of sickening. It's really sickening. And I don't want to blame every progressive Democrat, at least, for not bending the knee this time. There was so much pressure not to do so. And a lot of that pressure was coming from the Democratic leadership. But that pressure shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't be trying to coerce people into voting for a bill that sucks. You should be fighting tooth and nail to improve that bill. To stage publicity stunts. To do what you have to do to get the public opinion on your side. Because once you win the war of public opinion, you win the war overall. Right? When it becomes incredibly unpopular to stand against the interest of working families because you have been fighting in the media and in the war of public opinion for our interests, that's powerful. Mitch McConnell can't just go out there and say, hey, to hell with the states and the cities, I guess they're going to have to go bankrupt. No. Now you're putting Mitch McConnell in a position that he might have to genuinely consider supporting a UBI during this crisis. That's politics. Democrats don't know how to play it.
With the boys, yeah, we making all this noise. Can't complain, riding in the fast lane. To the top, we don't stop up till past 5 o'clock. Smoking trees.